Thank you so much for coming back and watching another one of my videos. My name is Khandy. I started this channel a few months ago to help hopeful adoptive parents, existing adoptive parents, and even some expectant parents, guide their way through this domestic private adoption world. And here we are. If you can go ahead, if this is your first time watching my channel, welcome and thank you so much. I appreciate you. Please go ahead and hit that subscribe button below and let's get to it. So this week we are going to be talking about you think you're ready to adopt, but are you really ready? So I did a video on this, and then I was doing some more research because I always tell you to do your research, and there were some key things that I missed or just some things that I probably should have added into that one. So here we go. You're probably like, Khandy's always coughing. And you know what? I feel like I only cough with this. I don't know if the ventilation in this room. And you know what? Looking up there, I think I have that vent closed. Open it. So you need to ask yourself, why do you want to adopt? And I think all of us have our different reasons, whether that be that, hello, we want to be parents. That could be you have a single person and they're just like, I'm ready for parenthood. I don't feel like I need to be married or have a partner. This is just what I want to do. You have, your adoptee, and they said, I always wanted to adopt when I became of age. So you have that. You have your couples that had their own infertility journey and now they want to adopt. You have your same-sex couples that have always wanted to be parents and they want to adopt. So there's a million reasons why everyone wants to adopt, and here we are. Okay, so you have to ask yourself, why do you want to adopt? But understand that when you're asking yourself why you want to adopt, adoption should not be your last ditch effort. Okay, so when my husband and I initially first started dating and we got married, Kenny always knew that I wanted to adopt. I wanted to adopt two little girls from India. Okay, so I wanted to do an international adoption, and my husband shut me down because he said, why were we going to adopt from India when we have babies right here in America? So my husband has 3 adopted siblings, and he's always shutting me down. If you've never seen any of my videos, there is one thing to know. My husband is always like, dream popper, that guy. So why do you want to adopt? You need to ask yourself that, okay? Have you done your research and know all your adoption options? That is very important. I cannot preach this enough to you guys. Know your options when it comes to adoption. So you'd be surprised how many times people don't know just the basics of adoption or where to start with adoption. So this could be a very long process. This could be a very taxing process on you personally, mentally, emotionally, physically, financially. Let me tell you something. So do your research, understand where you want to start, what you want to do, and what you need to do in order to proceed with the type of adoption that you want. So know your options. If you're married, are you and your spouse on the same page? And when I say that, are both you and your spouse ready to adopt at the same time? Are you and your spouse open to the same preferences? Are you and your spouse open to the financial commitment that this involves? 3 major issues when it comes to adoption. 3 major issues when it comes to adoption. And then if you have children, have you spoken to your existing children about this? Because I think a lot of times we just think, oh, as long as Kenny is okay with it, then it should be fine. But what about your children that are a little bit older? And when I say a little bit older, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. And if they still live in your home or you are still supporting them while they're in college, how is this going to affect them? Because it will. Trust me, it will affect them. So you have to ask yourself, how is this going to affect my spouse? Are they on board? How is this going to affect my children? And are they on board? And understand, if you live in a generational dwelling, if you have aunts, uncles, cousins that live in your house, How is this going to affect them? And is everybody on board? You have to ask yourself this, okay? If you're single and you're adopting, good for you. But do you have a strong support system? Because listen, this is not a one-man rodeo. Mm-mm, mm-mm. This right here, you need a village. This could be a 2-man, 3-man village, but you need a support system around you. And that support system needs to be strong because there are days that you're going to be weak. And you need people around you that are going to lift you up and tell you that tomorrow is going to be better. Because let me tell you, hard days don't last. Hard people last. And so you have to really have a strong village, a strong core, a strong support system. So if you're single and you're just starting, build that support system. If you are single and you are still in this, thank your support system, because trust me, you're going to need them. Okay? Can you pass a home study? I know you. If you haven't heard the word home study and you are wanting to adopt, start from the bottom. But can you pass a home study? Can you get approved for a home study? Listen, this is serious. Everything about you is going to be checked. Everything about you is going to be checked, both statewide, and these are states that you've lived in, I think, for the past, I don't know, I think every state is different. So depending on your state, they're going to go back 7 to 12 years. So your criminal background, and then they're going to check your federal background. Then you have to do a medical check. Okay, and then you're just going to have someone come and just run through your house. So can you pass this? Okay, so they're checking your medical evaluation, and that's pretty much just like physically, can you take care of a child? Mentally, emotionally, can you take care of a child? And then, a criminal background, can you take care of a child? And then your physical dwelling, is that suitable for a child or children? Can you pass that? Can you provide for this child financially, emotionally, physically throughout their life? I did not say until 18. And I say that because let me tell you something, what happens right now. You have some states that expectant mom can go ahead and sign a TPR before she delivers. A TPR, for you guys that are just starting out and you're just like, I want to adopt, so I'm going to go ahead and watch the great videos that Khandy has on YouTube. Hi, thank you. A TPR is a termination of parental rights. Certain states, expectant mom can go to a courthouse and actually sign it before the baby is born. I know, it's crazy. Now, she delivers a perfectly healthy baby. I am a registered nurse. I don't know how many of you have ever heard of Erb's palsy, Bell's palsy, cerebral palsy. All of those things usually happen during or shortly after delivery. When I say, can you provide for this child throughout their life? I mean, because certain things can happen directly after delivery. After that child is now legally yours, and this child can have a permanent disability. This is now your child. And I'm not being funny. I'm not being funny. And this is not to say that their first mom knew anything about that. This is your child. Let me tell you a little bit about Kenny and myself. When Kenny and myself got the call about our daughter, we got the call letting us know that our daughter was 28 weeks. She was 28 weeks. A baby's supposed to be 40 weeks when they're delivered. Our daughter was 28 weeks. We accepted the match. We drove 14 hours through the night. We got to the hospital. She was this tiny little baby hooked up to all these machines. And I mean, now she's this perfect, amazing child. But we went ahead and we signed the papers with everything with the attorney and her mom, and her first mom left the hospital, and now she was our daughter. She spent 52 days in the hospital, in the NICU. Anything could have happened. When the attorney was signing the paperwork, he said, you do understand what this means. Anything that happens to her, this is your child. And I mean, I think that he kept on stressing it because he said he was paraphrasing it in so many different ways. And I think because he wanted us to understand the severity of what could happen with a 28-weeker. What could happen with a 28-weeker? And we said, okay. Again, just being so naive to the entire severity of having a premature baby, especially a premature baby of that gestational period. And so when you embark on this journey, you have to be prepared for anything. Because if anything would have happened to her, Khandy and I would have been right there and just accepted it for what it was and still given her the best life that we could have. She was our child. That's it. She's our daughter. What else are we going to do? That's exactly why we chose to live out of state for 3 months. We never came back home. From we left that night, we didn't come back home for 3 months. Because if that was my child that I delivered and had naturally, I wasn't going to leave my child in a hospital in another state. No. And so it was the same thing with this baby. I wasn't going to leave her. She was mine. And it's the same exact thing that I say right here. Are you prepared to take care of this child financially, emotionally, mentally, and physically throughout their life? Not until they're 18. Because there is no cutoff time for you to be a parent. Okay? Just because they leave your house to go off to college, you have to be able to take care of this child throughout their life. But enough on that topic, because I could do a whole nother video on that, because that one got me hot. Did you see that? How do I honestly feel about parenting a child of a different race, ethnicity, other than myself? You know, sometimes I'll look at comments, and I've had some people comment on things that I've said, and it doesn't bother me, whatever, you can say whatever you want. But some people have gotten so defensive, and, you know, they'll say they get looks and comments, and it's like, same-sex couples get looks and they get comments. I get looks and I get comments. We have to be prepared for that when we say we are open. We have to be prepared for things when we say we're open. This is not going to change the love that you have for your child, but you have to understand that not everyone in the world understands adoption. Not everyone in the world understands transracial adoption. Not everyone in the world accepts the fact that anyone can love someone of a different race. So you have to be prepared that when you say you were open to something, that you were open to that. And you have to be prepared for the stares. You have to be prepared for the uncomfortable questions. Because just because I have a daughter that can pass for mine and Kenny's daughter, like if no one knew she was adopted, I mean, you wouldn't be able to tell. But that doesn't mean that I don't get uncomfortable questions when people know that. That's a part of it, because people are ignorant to adoption. They don't grasp it. Because I will still get, but don't you want your own? She is my own. That's what people don't get. She is my child. You understand what I mean? It's like, it doesn't matter how you pose it. People are still going to give you something. So are you ready for that part? Are you ready to really give your child everything that they need to succeed? Everything that they need to succeed. Is your family ready to give them everything that they need to succeed? And I mean on all facets, you know? And I mean, that's a broad topic, you know? So don't get uncomfortable when people stare. It's going to happen, and it's going to be uncomfortable. But when they stare, say hi, and move on. That's somebody else's problem. It's not yours. If your child is happy and you're educating your child about their history, and you are making sure that your child is involved and seeing self-reflection, so that means that your child is seeing other people that look like them and involved with other people that look like them, then don't worry about it. But if your child is in a situation that they're in a bubble that nothing else around them is a reflection of them, then to me that's where I have an issue with it. But this video is not about that. But again, how do I honestly feel about parenting a child of a different ethnicity than mine? You know, that to me is a deep question. And that's something that you really have to really ask yourself and be honest with you. Like, be honest with yourself, because it's more than just I can love. We have to take ourselves out the equation and stop making it about us and make it about our child. Do what's best for them. You might get your hair cut at a salon, but your son needs to go to a barber shop. You understand what I mean? So just different things. Just I'm telling you, work with me here. So when you decide that you want to adopt, get information from everywhere. Get information from everywhere. Do your research on everything. And then the last but least is set a budget. And I'm not being funny. I know some of you are like, oh Lord. Set a budget. Set a budget. Set a budget, because when you figure out the type of adoption that you want to do, you have to set a budget, and you have to know how you're going to seek out this adoption, whether that's going to be with an agency, a facilitator consultant, or an adoption attorney. Set a budget, because you will go broke. Set a budget. This can be this can be such an expensive journey. It can be. And this is if you're going the private route. I'm not talking about foster care. Don't put that in the comments. I'm talking about a private adoption. This can be expensive. It can also be very inexpensive. I mean, less than $5,000. Yeah. But ask yourself these questions so you know exactly what you're getting into. Okay? So that's what I have. This journey will really teach you a lot about yourself. It will teach you a lot about your spouse. It'll teach you a lot about your inner circle, because it's not easy. It's not. It will teach you a lot about yourself and the people around you. So thank you so much for watching. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, please feel free to leave them in the box below. Please push the subscribe button. I upload a new video every single week, and I will see you soon. Take care. Bye-bye.